So you're thinking about becoming a professional card reader. Maybe you've been reading cards for a while and you're finally ready to start thinking about, or maybe you're already there, ready to jump into becoming a professional reader. Maybe making an income doing what you love, maybe beginning to offer readings to folks, being able to put your gifts out into the world and help others. But there's a little problem there. You don't actually know what defines a professional reader. Hi, my name's Emily Rose. I'm a professional Lenormand and tarot reader, and I also teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand cards like they're talking to a friend. And this is a question I get all the time in my Lenormand Learners membership. Folks are coming and asking, okay, when am I ready to be a professional? What credentials do I need to have? How many classes do I need to take? How many people do I need to read for? How do I know? In this video, I'm going to give you some tips, and we're actually going to have a little heart-to-heart here to determine what being a professional reader means, what being a good reader means, and whether or not you're ready to go pro. Before we dig in, I would love to hear in the comments below where you are at in your reading journey. Do you read tarot cards, Lenormand cards, oracle cards? Are you an astrologer? Are you a Reiki healer? I would love to know, and I'd also love to know how long you've been doing it for. In most industries, we need to look at what the regulations or standards are in order to determine if we're ready to go pro. So let's do that. Oh, there aren't any regulations or standards when it comes to tarot or Lenormand reading or oracle card reading. So what this means is that we don't have a governing body telling us this is when you can go pro. You need to meet these benchmarks in order to do that. You don't need to have read for X number of hours or to have taken X number of courses in order to charge money for your readings. So does that mean that anyone can just start charging money for readings? Yeah, it does. Did that make you cringe a little bit? It did to me too. And that means that we are ethical people, right? So just looking at what the rules are in this space, there are none. What this means is that you need to define for yourself what a professional reader is and at what point you have met those qualifications for yourself. So although, like I said, there's no governing body that tells you what a professional reader is and what that definition is, I'd like to offer you one in terms of just the word professional and what I'm talking about with that. So by the word professional, I'm talking about accepting money in exchange for a reading. That's what I'm talking about. This means having a business. Usually if you're accepting money for readings, you're going to need some type of business entity to do that, a sole proprietorship, a LLC here in the States. Other countries are going to have different names most likely, but you'll need something to that extent to be a professional. So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about becoming a professional reader. But usually what's behind the question, how do I know I'm ready to become a professional reader, is the question, when am I a good reader? What defines a good reader? And that is the question I would like to focus on. I'll tell you what I think a good reader is in a minute, but I would really like you to take a moment and think about this for yourself. What defines a good reader to you? Everyone's going to have a different take on this most likely. And when I think about what a good reader is, it's going to be different than the next person's. So take a moment and pop it in the comments. What do you think defines a good reader? If you're like, I have no idea, think about a reader that you really admire, that you really like, and maybe think, okay, how would they define what a good reader is? And start from there. I'm not saying stay there, just start from there. you want to think about for you, like if you were to point to someone and say they're a good reader, like what qualifications are they meeting? So take a moment, use the comments as your scratch pad, and then I'm going to share what mine is, but I really want you to come up with what yours is before I say what mine is. So I think a good reader is someone who has a great connection with their cards. They have a great relationship with their cards, and they're someone who has studied their cards before. They have taken time with them, they've taken a course, they have a strong foundation in one way or another with the medium that they're using. This would also apply to someone who's a psychic or something like that. I want them to have a strong relationship with whatever they're connecting with. In terms of how they got that relationship, that honestly doesn't matter as much to me as long as they feel confident in the information they're getting and they've gotten results through practice readings for people as well. And they have a lot of experience in terms of reading for others. So you notice something I said there. I didn't say anything about time, how long they've been doing this. I think that this is about their relationship with things. And if someone has a strong relationship with their medium, that's something that I feel like I can tell right away when I get a reading from somebody. And I feel that I'm in good hands when I see them because I can tell that they feel strong about what they're doing. I have some folks who started Lenormand Foundations, which is my course inside my Lenormand Learners community. They started that only like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they are reading professionally now. They have put in the time and the work. They have made these 2 years about their cards, and they have a strong relationship where they're able to charge for readings. Now, if someone just barely touched their cards, right, for 5 years, that doesn't make them a professional reader, right? So that's why I just take time out of that equation for me personally, and I just look at their relationship with the cards. The other thing I think that makes a good reader too is someone who's willing to be in integrity with themselves in the sense that they have ethics. They have clearly defined ethics for themselves. And that's pretty clear when you sit down and you're working with them. I also think a really good reader takes accountability for things as well. They're always looking to improve. They're always looking to, okay, how can I do that better? And they're always learning. So to me, that's what a good reader is. My definition is going to be different than yours, most likely. So I actually like seeing everyone's definitions below. So I can't wait to go through. And I think we could have some lively chats in the comment section. So please do put down there what you think. You may have noticed something about my good reader definition. I said that they have done a lot of practice readings. You might feel like you're in a little bit of a conundrum when you hear that, like, wait, someone who's not professional has done a lot of readings for other people. This is kind of my main point of this video. You don't get better at doing readings by studying your cards. Yes, that is important. You need to have a foundation, but the way you become a good reader, a really good reader, is through reading for other people. There's just no substitute for it. That is how you're going to grow. That is how you're going to learn as a reader. And for a lot of people, this creates an issue within themselves. It's like a chicken and egg kind of scenario. Something I hear in my membership and in other places is, well, don't I have to be at a certain level before I start reading for other people, even for practice? And my answer to that is no. Not if you're doing practice readings. And the important part, you're being transparent that this is a practice reading and that they are helping you learn. Now, I'm not saying charge for readings in those practice readings at first. I'm just saying it's important for you to start reading for other people as soon as humanly possible, because you are going to learn so much faster, more efficiently. You're going to grow. And I can always tell in my membership who's reading for other people and who isn't. It's just so apparent very quickly. And for some people, they might not ever want to read for other people, and that's fine. It can just be for you. But if you want to be a professional reader, gotta start practicing, gotta start getting out there and reading for other people. This is where that whole fake it till you make it thing comes in. I hate that phrase. I don't usually use the word hate a lot, but I really don't like that phrase. And it's because a lot of card readers are really high integrity people, and we don't want to feel like we're faking anything. For that reason, I like to have this other framework concept, if you will, that really helps me think about becoming a professional. Honestly, when I started thinking about things this way, it was a game changer, and I found myself having so much more confidence right away because it's just so much more doable than fake it till you make it to me. More accessible. What I like to think of the whole journey of becoming a professional reader, rather than thinking of it as I'm not professional and now I am, like there's just like magical gateway that you enter through and it's like suddenly I'm a professional. I don't like to think of it that way. I like to think of it as a professional path that you decide to step on. And stepping on this path is something you can do right now. I don't care if you just started your very first course, you just cracked open your first book. Anybody who's interested in becoming a professional reader can step on this path right now. So you're like, okay, what is this pro path thing? So I think about it as deciding, and that's a key word here, deciding that you are going to be a professional reader and that you are going to start carrying yourself in a professional way. This doesn't require any faking it at all. I think about it like deciding to get on this path and take one step at a time toward becoming a better reader, toward eventually charging for readings when it feels right for you, in taking accountability for the way that you read, for your process. I also see it as stepping onto this mystical path as well. When I picture the pro reader path, it's this path in the woods that is like lined with really beautiful, opulent crystals, and you start walking down this path, and it's deciding that you're going to trust your cards, that you are building a relationship with them, and that each step you take is strengthening that bond that you have with your cards, or however you think about it. You could think about it as a relationship with your higher self, with the universe, whatever you define it as. Stepping onto that pro path is strengthening your relationship with it, and every step you take deepens that relationship. So what you want to do is take that definition you came up with as a good reader, figure out kind of where you are in relation to that. One thing that we do tend to do, and I notice this with card readers because we're very empathic, we're intuitive, and we care so much about the impact that we have on other people. Something that we tend to do is set very unrealistic expectations for ourselves. So I'd like you to look at your definition and lovingly ask yourself, is this a fair and realistic definition of what a good reader is? One way I think about that is if I think about like my best friend, would I give her that same definition? Just because we tend to be gentler on other people than ourselves. But once you've got it to something that's fair and realistic for yourself, really think about where you are in relation to that definition. And if you're like, I can't figure that out, it's time to make your definition a little more granular. Something I do inside Hustle Sorceress, which is my course for folks that want to start or grow their card reading or intuitive side hustle. It's starting so soon. One thing I have them do is actually pick numbers. And if they said, I want to have a lot of practice readings, I say, okay, how many practice readings do you think you would need in order to go pro? They usually get the, I'm like, let's pick a number. That doesn't mean that hell or high water at that number, they become a professional reader. Instead, what it means is, okay, I'm going to do 20 readings or whatever, 5, 10, 15, 20, what, I don't care, whatever the number is for you. And then I'm going to check back in with myself, right? So I'm going to walk down that pro path. And when I get to a certain point on that pro path, I'm going to look around and assess, okay, is this the point in which I want to begin charging for readings? And if the answer is yes, then perfect, you're ready to go. If the answer is no, then I like to ask, why not? What do I feel like I'm missing? How am I not meeting my definition? Or maybe my definition has changed a little bit. This is something we want to be cognizant of because I see a lot of goalposts moving. You want to avoid that, but it's okay for things to shift a little bit. So if it's like, actually, I'm realizing that I'd like more experience with this type of client, or I'd like to have more experience combining cards, and so I'm going to do 5 more readings that way. Something small and tweakable is fine, but you don't want to set it up so you have like 100 more readings you have to do, or something that's so different than your initial goal. So really, there's 3 questions to ask yourself right now. What is a good reader to me? How would I define that? You've already done that. Kudos. Second question, where am I on that professional path? Third question is, am I willing to step on the professional path? And am I willing to take those steps until I reach that level for myself? If you said, yes, I am ready to step on that professional path and I'm ready to continue to take steps until I reach that level of being a good, solid reader, then I would love to invite you to apply for Side Hustle Sorceress. Side Hustle Sorceress is my 6-month course that teaches you how to start and grow your card reading side hustle or intuitive side hustle. But it is so much more than just a course. Not only do we have 6 modules of a course that will walk you through the building blocks of building that business, but we also have monthly gatherings where we come together, we connect, I bring you through practices, and we have a mindset and magic vault. And that's where I share with you some of the game-changing mindset tricks and also some spells and things like that that have helped me quite a bit in my own business and that I've seen help others. You also get office hours with me, and this is dedicated time for you to bring all of your random business questions, all of your random card questions, and let's face it, life stuff happens too, so we bring that there, and you can bring it for witnessing, you could bring it for, I would like help with this. It's just a very supportive time for you. And I know a lot of us are neurospicy and some of us really need additional motivation and assistance in getting to work. So for that reason, we also have co-working sessions where you can come in and we will all work together. There are also guest speakers who I'm so excited about shaping up. Additionally, we have a legal and tech vault that give you resources for those things. So if that's something that has been stopping you from starting, that is going to be your home base. So if this sounds up your alley, go ahead and apply at emilyrosedivination.com/SHS. I usually will get back to you in 1 to 2 days. And if we're a match for working with each other, then you will hear back from me, and be sure to join as soon as possible because we have things happening. You'll get access to module 1 on September 29th. So be sure to go ahead and apply as soon as you can. I would love to hear in the comments below what you thought about this video. Did you love it? What were your vibes? Let me know. And then also feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you hopefully in Side Hustle Sorceress in future videos. Thanks all.